1. Accept your present situation. As a path to spiritual awakening and internal transformation, Eckhart Tolle highlights the tremendous value of accepting the present moment. We can experience a profound sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment by living fully in the present moment, which transcends the mind's incessant striving and unrest. We need to stop concentrating on the past or worrying about the future in order to fully engage in the present. According to Tolle, the past simply exists as memories in our brains, while the future is a projection of our thoughts and imagination. The richness and beauty of existence are only accessible in the present moment, where life genuinely manifests. Start by developing an awareness and mindfulness state before practicing accepting the current moment. Pay close attention to your surroundings, your body's sensations, and the nuances of the current experience. No matter how banal or unremarkable the present moment may appear, give yourself permission to completely participate in it. Bring your entire focus to the present moment no matter what you are doing, whether it be sipping tea, taking a walk in the woods, or conversing with someone. Accepting what is another component of living in the present. Tolle asserts that while acceptance and surrender to the present moment provide calm, resistance to them results in pain. Acceptance doesn't imply surrender or inactivity, rather, it is accepting and embracing the reality of the present moment without holding it against oneself or wishing for something to be different. By accepting what is, we connect ourselves with life's flow and become more open to the limitless opportunities that each moment offers. In addition, Tolle advises using your breath as a compass to guide you in the present. The breath is an effective tool for grounding us in the here and now and for calming the mind. Take a few deliberate breaths, focusing on how each inhalation and exhalation feels. You may enter the present moment and keep that feeling of presence throughout the rest of the day with the help of this straightforward technique. In the end, accepting the present moment is more than just a fleeting insight, it is a way of being. It is a continuous practice to bring awareness and presence to every situation, whether it is enjoyable or difficult. You can access the grandeur of life that exists beyond the boundaries of the past and the future by living in the present moment, and you also experience a profound sensation of aliveness and freedom. In conclusion, Eckhart Tolle asserts that practicing present moment acceptance is a transforming action that results in inner tranquility and spiritual enlightenment. We can overcome the mind's unceasing restlessness and connect with the great beauty and richness of the present moment by practicing awareness, letting go of what is, focusing on the breath, and fully engaging with the present experience. The voyage of living in the present invites us to experience life to the fullest and learn about our true nature. If you like this video so far, let us know by pressing the like button. And to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. 2. Watch your thoughts and feelings. Eckhart Tolle advocates the use of observation as a method for developing mindfulness, achieving a sense of presence, and finding inner peace. We can gain an understanding of our thoughts and emotions' nature and let go of our connection to them by just observing them without passing judgment or identifying with them. Create a sense of self-awareness to start observing your thoughts and feelings. Simply notice your ideas as they come to you, avoiding becoming sucked into their content. Create a space of detachment and become a witness to the thoughts that enter your consciousness rather than reacting right away or going along with the thinking. Similar to this, when you experience emotions, focus on the feelings and energy that go along with them. Observe the energetic and physical expressions of emotions without getting caught up in their narratives or attempting to influence them. By doing this, you develop a condition of non-reactivity and learn to let your emotions pass through you without holding on to them or putting up a fight. Always keep in mind that the secret is to observe without bias. Observe any inclination to categorize ideas or feelings as good or bad, or as appropriate or inappropriate. Instead, focus on receiving them without repulsion or attachment. When you practice observation, you open up a space inside of you where you may observe your thoughts and feelings with calm and objectivity. You might begin to see patterns and recurrent themes as you keep track of your thoughts and feelings. You may come to the realization that many thoughts are pointless or repetitious and that feelings frequently follow thoughts rather than the actual circumstances at hand. You learn to distinguish between the thoughts in your head and your genuine essence that is beyond them through observation. You can detach from your ideas and feelings by regularly monitoring them. It aids in your understanding that you are not your thoughts or feelings but rather the consciousness from which they emerge. By developing this awareness, you can escape the mind's automatic thought patterns and live each day with a greater sense of calmness and presence. As a way to develop awareness and detachment, Eckhart Tolle promotes the practice of monitoring thoughts and emotions. You can become more self-aware and gain an understanding of the characteristics of your thoughts and emotions by practicing non-judgmental observation. By disassociating from them, you make room for a closer relationship with your true self, overcoming mental constraints and gaining a deeper sense of inner peace. 3. Recognize the role of the ego. According to Eckhart Tolle, understanding the function of the ego is a crucial first step on the path to spiritual development and internal transformation. The ego is our identification with our thoughts, feelings, and self-created narratives. It is the voice inside of us that continuously seeks approval, makes comparisons, passes judgment, and rejects the status quo. We can start to release the ego's hold on our lives by being conscious of its presence and its workings. The first step in understanding the ego's function is to develop self-awareness. Observe your actions, feelings, and thoughts without judging or analyzing them. Take note of any times your ego feels threatened, on the defensive, or when you strongly identify with your views. You can free yourself from the ego's control by becoming more conscious of its patterns. Observing the inner conversation is one of the most important steps in identifying the ego. Take note of your mind's constant chatter and the tales it spins about the now and the future. Recognize that these narratives are works of the ego, intended to sustain a sense of dominance and distinction. You get perspective from this conversation's substance and the realization that you are not your ideas by taking on the role of the witness. Another indication of the presence of the ego is an emotional reaction. Pay attention to the underlying egoic mechanisms at work when intense emotions appear. The ego frequently feels the need to defend itself or uphold a particular image, which is where anger, anxiety, jealousy, and defensiveness come from. You may stop the ego from gaining control and causing unconscious responses by just monitoring these reactions without taking any immediate action. Recognizing the function of the ego requires cultivating detachment. Start to doubt the truth and significance of your beliefs and thoughts. Recognize that the ego is a conditioned mental feature that has been shaped by social and cultural influences. You begin to have a greater sense of freedom and calm after you separate yourself from the ego's stories and identifications. And finally, one of the most effective ways to overcome the ego's impact is to live in the now. The ego loves to drag you into fantasies about the past or the future because it is continuously looking for something better or different. You escape the ego's control by shifting your focus to the here and now. Take full advantage of everything that is happening right now, including your physical feelings, the sounds in your environment, and the task at hand. You are able to transcend the ego's restrictions and have a closer relationship with your true self by doing this. To sum up, it takes self-awareness, observation of thoughts and emotions, detachment from identification, and acceptance of the current moment to understand the role of the ego. You can release the ego's hold and set out on a journey to spiritual enlightenment and inner freedom by engaging in these practices. 4. Giving up and accepting. Eckhart Tolle's philosophy is built on the fundamental teachings of surrender and acceptance, which provide a route to inner tranquility and release from suffering. Tolle exhorts people to embrace life as it unfolds with acceptance and openness, surrender to the present moment, and let go of resistance. Giving up the ego's desire for control and accepting things as they are, without resistance or judgment, is what it means to surrender. It is a deliberate decision to go with the flow of life, rather than a passive resignation. True power, according to Tolle, comes from submitting to the present moment because it enables us to access a more profound intellect and wisdom that transcend the bounds of the ego. Tolle believes that acceptance is a crucial component of surrender. It entails accepting the truth of the present moment, including any apparent obstacles or challenges, without assigning a positive or negative value to them. Acceptance is the understanding that resistance only causes pain to continue, not a passive condition or the support of unpleasant circumstances. Accepting what it is allows us to transform and become more receptive to new opportunities. Start by becoming conscious of any resistance or judgments that arise inside you in order to practice surrender and acceptance. Take note of any instances in which you negatively characterize situations, individuals, or the present moment. Make a conscious decision to give up control and accept rather than get sucked into these judgments. Don't try to alter or control life, just accept it as it is. Giving up the constant desire for results in the future or holding on to the memories of the past is another aspect of surrender and acceptance. We may fully enjoy the present moment and feel more at peace and free when we let go of our connection to the past or the future. According to Tolle, the only location where life actually develops is in the present moment, and by giving ourselves over to it, we synchronize with life's inherent rhythm. We notice a fundamental change in our relationship with life when we submit and accept. We grow more linked to our inner essence, the underlying quiet and presence that transcend outward circumstances, and less identified with the ego. Acceptance and surrender open the door to a life that is broad, beautiful, and free from the constraints of the mind. In conclusion, Eckhart Tolle's teachings on surrender and acceptance are life-changing techniques that bring inner peace and liberation. By letting go of resistance and embracing reality as it is, we can access a greater level of insight and intelligence. we are able to transcend the constraints of the ego, find our actual essence, and open ourselves to the flow of life through surrender and acceptance. These techniques allow us to achieve freedom from the anguish brought on by the mind's resistance by embracing the richness and beauty of each moment. 5. Practice non-attachment. Eckhart Tolle's philosophy emphasizes the importance of non-attachment as a means of achieving inner liberation and peace. According to Tolle, attachment to other people, things, outcomes, and even thoughts and emotions leads to suffering and keeps us from finding ultimate fulfillment. By engaging in non-attachment practices, we let go of the ego's hold and make room for a richer experience of the present and joy. Start by developing awareness of your attachments in order to practice non-attachment. Watch the areas of your life where you cling desperately to people, things, or certain results. When an attachment is endangered or questioned, pay attention to the feelings and thoughts that emerge. You make room for change and liberation by bringing these attachments into conscious awareness. Non-attachment does not imply apathy or disconnection from life. It is about accepting the present moment as it arises and letting go of the need for things to be a certain way. Realizing that everything is transient and that inner contentment, rather than external circumstances, is where true fulfillment comes from. We can break free from the never-ending cycle of want, anxiety, and suffering by letting go of attachment. Giving up identification with ideas and emotions is a crucial component of non-attachment practice. Thoughts and emotions come and go, but they are not who we truly are, according to Tolle. We experience more spaciousness and freedom when we can observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in their substance or identifying with them. Instead of becoming caught up in the mind's whims, we become its observers. Non-attachment also encourages us to live fully in the present. We miss out on the beauty and richness of the present moment when we become emotionally connected to past experiences or aspirations for the future. We achieve a deeper connection with life that is unrestricted by attachment by focusing on the present moment. We develop the ability to enjoy each moment for what it is, rather than always looking for something better or different. A change in viewpoint and the ability to let go are prerequisites for practicing non-attachment. It entails letting go of the ego's desire for control and having faith in life's inherent flow. By letting go of attachment, we make room for potential brand new encounters, perceptions, and relationships. We improve our capacity for mindfulness, compassion, and tranquility. In conclusion, Eckhart Tolle's non-attachment philosophy exhorts us to let go of our attachment to other people, things we achieve, and thoughts. We achieve inner freedom and tranquility through developing awareness, letting go of identification with the mind, and accepting the present moment. True fulfillment comes from inside, and everything is transient. Thus, non-attachment is not a discipline of detaching from life. By engaging in non-attachment practices, we free ourselves from suffering and make room for a richer encounter with happiness and the present. 6. Letting go of identification in the mind. Eckhart Tolle stresses the critical need to let go of mental identification in order to experience genuine inner calm and awaken to our actual nature. He stresses that while the mind is a tool, when we become unduly associated with it, we then lose touch with our inner selves and become mired in a cycle of unending thought and misery. The first step in overcoming identification with the mind is to become aware of its ongoing functioning. Keep track of the thoughts that keep running through your head, the internal monologue that describes your experiences, and any judgments or opinions that pop up. A greater degree of consciousness might manifest when you observe these thoughts without getting caught up in them. Realize that you are not your thoughts after that. The mind is a conditioned being that has undergone societal conditioning as well as external stimuli. It develops tales and stories that support a sense of individual identity. You can start to disidentify from the stories and beliefs of the mind by being conscious of this conditioning. The development of presence and stillness is a potent technique for letting go of identification with the mind. Pay close attention to your breathing, your body's physical feelings, or the sounds you hear. You make a pause in the stream of thought when you focus on the here and now. In that space, you can encounter a deeper plane of consciousness that is outside of the mind. The development of self-compassion and non-judgment is another component of letting go of identification with the mind. Realize that your true self is not reflected in the thoughts and opinions of the mind. Knowing that you are not defined by the mind's opinions or the stories it fabricates, be nice and accepting of yourself. You'll have a profound sense of inner calm and presence as you keep letting go of identification with the mind. You open up to a degree of consciousness that is higher than the ordinary ups and downs of ideas and feelings. You can feel a sense of calm and clarity in this state of being that goes beyond what the mind can comprehend. By letting go of connection with the mind, you come into alignment with your true nature, which Tolle calls consciousness or presence. This essence is beyond thoughts and is the source of real inner peace. It is the component of your being that is eternal and unaffected by how things change in your life. You can live more lucidly, wisely, and joyfully by taking a moment to relax in this condition of presence. In sum, Eckhart Tolle's philosophy places a strong emphasis on the importance of letting go of affiliation with the mind. You can get through the constraints of the mind and connect with your deeper nature by growing awareness, realizing that you are not your thoughts, being present, and using self-compassion. You can achieve a profound sense of inner calm, clarity, and freedom by letting go of identification with the mind. It is a call to awaken to your genuine nature, which exists outside of thought. It's crucial to remember that these tactics call for constant practice. In order to let go and find more peace and fulfillment in life, Tolle's teachings highlight the importance of presence, awareness, and surrender. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.